everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back. If this is your 6 Heels episode review, here we are, episode 6. I hope you enjoyed the Emmys 2 nights ago. If you're unaware, I am exhausted as hell because not only did I have to do the Emmys on Sunday, I also had to go to a couple of friends' birthdays. So I am exhausted. Mentally, physically, stomach-wise, everything. That's why I just could not do the Heels episode review on time. Plus, remember, we are switching over to Tuesday time slots because next week we are off the air for some reason. You would assume that they would not... I don't know what that big noise was. Okay. You would assume that we would get no Heels episode this week because of the Emmys, and then we would come back next week. But instead... oh, well, I guess to hurt the ratings, I guess. Whatever the case may be. So, this week on Heels, once again, continuing the pattern of we had a whole episode in the ring, now we're back on the outside. This felt like the calm before the storm. This definitely felt like we were just meandering the plot a little bit in order to, like, give kind of, like, I think the last breath of, like, clarity and fresh air before, like, the real dramatic stuff in the last 2 episodes I gotta pick up, which also makes sense to possibly why we're off the air next week, because it just gives us time to, you know, and let them enjoy their somewhat of peace. It's not too hectic yet. It's getting there, but it's not too crazy just quite yet. And honestly, with this episode, the slow pacing, of course, like I said before, like, it does help. It helps us give us a little bit more of a deeper look into the characters. Again, now 6 episodes into this series, we're seeing how, like, the recent episodes from the start of the show to now have affected them so much. We got more background on, like, what their motivations are, and of course what the stakes are leading into the final 2 episodes of the season. And I think this was just another solid episode for Heels through and through. So with that being said, let's just go into it. Let's go through the butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Heels. So we begin with wait, did we begin with that scene or not? There's 2 scenes I remember seeing first. I want to say it was, we're at the ring, and I believe it was Willie there, and presumably we thought this was her talking to Jack, but no, it's not. It's Tom. Tom's there, and this was like one of Tom's last months before he eventually killed himself. Struggling about how, like, the finances for the DWL is going now. Things are not doing so great. And Willie's just there, you know, not really doing much. Could be a sign of, like, you know, her, like, just regretting, like, not doing something more. Or who knows what the reason was for that scene, really. Even watching the whole episode, it was kind of off for me, in my opinion. Meanwhile, back at the Spade House, everyone's got this big old christening ceremony, big old baptism ceremony for the little big... Damn, I forgot. The wrestler who retired in the first episode, his daughter, it's already her baptism, so it's a big event. Most of the town's going to be there, like all the local folks, everyone close with the DWL is going to be there. Jack is sadly, once again, unaware of it until his wife reminds him while he's looking for his keys. His wife also composing a brand new original song right in front of her husband, but he's obviously just preoccupied with now the Georgia State Fair that they got booked, and now this podcast appearing that's going to boost their numbers, as well as dealing with what to do with Bill. So he's got a lot on his plate. But of course, like, the running theme of the show is that he hasn't been there for his family as much as he should have. So now he's got that on his plate, but he's not really making the effort or the vocal effort to say this is going to happen. He doesn't really. So I believe, yeah, we catch up a little bit what's going on with everyone. Bobby's leg is like, Bobby's good. He's out of surgery. He's recovering. But it's going to be a long time before he's back in the ring. Crystal is a bit uncertain about her future with DWL after her outburst in the last episode. Rooster gets approached by one of the Apocalypse League dudes to have him join them for a pretty big boost of money, but Rooster, having pride and just having his acceptance, declines the money, saying that, look, you don't just come to this town, come to me, just whip out a big wad of cash and expect me to join with you. That's not how it works. Which, respect to Rooster there, respect on him. So, and then we get back to Ace. He's just watching some home videos about his dad, and we get a We get younger Jack and Ace, just doing their shit, exploring life. And big old Tom is just praising his little boy that Ace is going to go big, he's going to go far in life. And Ace is just now like looking at this at the lens of like where he is at right now in life, and he's not really doing the best. Also, he gets a call that, he is the godfather for some weird reason of the little girl, but also he has to prepare a speech for her before she is being able to baptize. And of course, Ace, being the person he is, he doesn't want to do a speech. He doesn't want to do it at all. He just wants to say the name, do the background part, be there for the spirit and the symbol, and then be out of there for the time of the barbecue. But nope, that's not the case. He's got to work for that barbecue. He's got to work for that free ribs and chicken. Where do we go from here? So Jack and Willie take a trip to the a stadium up in southern Georgia, or wherever the heck it is, to kind of like I don't think I think they say it's not the locale for the Georgia State Fair, but this is kind of like the audience number they should be expecting when the DWL performs. And of course, Jack being on the right side, if this was any other month before the show, he wouldn't have a problem because things, it's kind of like straightforward. This is like their big shot to like really boost up. The other problem is that the fair has been having some trouble times trying to get pre-booking tickets ahead of time, which is like kind of weird because like for a fair, like even the ones that were like near where I live, like you don't really pre-book them. You just show up and you buy your ticket. All you just focus on is the promotion. So that's kind of weird in my opinion, but okay, whatever the case might be. Of course, Jack's got a lot on his plate. He's still got to figure out the main event for the show. He's got to figure out the script. He's got to figure out what they're building to. And, of course, now the Bill factor run into things, and Willie is very vocal about it, that he personally does not want Bill to be there. She doesn't think that Bill deserves to be there anymore, that what he did last week is kind of like, so is he in charge again? Is he just, like, running the show now? And Jack, of course, is like, no, he's not. He's a pig, and through and through, we have a plan. He's definitely not going to win the belt. The problem is, like I said before in the last week, and Willie echoes this, is that Bill hasn't wrestled in years. He is a very unpredictable man. He is doing drugs. He will probably not give a fuck to what Jack and Ace wrote. So what if they do get in the ring together? It's literally going to be a fight to the death, because that's the only way they're going to be able to beat him. And Willie's just very dismayed about, like, look, if Bill's involved in this, I might not have a place here anymore, because what he's done to me, what he said to me already in the entirety of I known him, she doesn't want to be around him, and she just leaves. Poor old Jack alone in the middle of southern Georgia. Also, just another fun fact: to make some rent, to make some extra money for the ring. The DWL hall is used as kind of like a renting ground as well. So when it's not being used for wrestling purposes, people get to use it for A&A meetings, for big old meat sales, not meat sales, meet and greet sales, and it's just kind of funny. It kind of is, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that's a thing. But at the same time, like, I'm still shocked at this, and I haven't been to a small town and lived around there for a while, so I don't know how the community is. But again, like, if you're in the same small town for so long, you're eventually gonna like just peak in whatever the hell you're doing. So that's just my weird thing about it. I believe from there on, this episode kind of like jumps all over the place for me for a bit. I think we just start getting into the church stuff, I believe, as soon as Jack heads back to the DWL halls and meets with the guy he's going to do the podcast with. And the podcaster definitely has his own agenda. He wants to get the details about the upcoming big fair match, but Jack doesn't really have an answer for it because he's still figuring out how the hell he's going to do the match. And as well as the other spectrum of things, he just wants to know more about Jack and, his relationship with his father, and like what was the psyche going into his father. And Jack is just like really not comfortable with this. He's really not wanting to do this, but he has no choice because it is one of their only sources of promotion. And I do remember Bill does stop by him a little bit before the podcast just to kind of like talk about like, hey, now what's going to happen in the match, the fair, like we should start talking about it, start thinking about who's going to win or not, how's it going to work. And Jack's just still very much dealing like just trying to get Bill the hell away from him and just keeping his distance. And also He just said, look, right now I'm focused on apologizing to Willie. Willie ain't not the biggest fan of you right now, so you gotta go fix that. So he does so, but we'll save that for even later on. At the church, everyone's starting to come together for the baptism. Crystal's there, and she just wants to ask Willie what the plan is for her in the fair yet. And for Willie, she's just being vocally honest. Her like, look, what you did in the ring was off script. Definitely not what was planned for the character, for the story. And right now, you not being Ace's valet, and Bobby is currently now just off commission. There's a good chance you probably won't even be at the fair. That this is kind of what you wrote. That if you hadn't, like, this could also be Willie just being in a mood because of the whole Bill thing. It could just be that too. But in general, she's just not a fan of Crystal right now. I don't. None of the higher ups are fans of Crystal right now. Definitely, Jack wasn't last week. Willie isn't this week. So the only people she has is like her fellow peers, and that's all she has. And poor old Bobby still struggling to walk. So sorry, Bobby. The church sermon begins while Jack's on his way, and conveniently enough, Jack is stopped by a roadblock, so he has to find a whole nother longer way around to get to the church, which, of course, he doesn't make it at the end. But his wife performs a really beautiful original song. Ace says a speech that only Ace could come up with on the top of his head, to be honest with you, but it works out perfectly for the moment. Everyone comes together at the barbecue, which I'm honestly surprised. Again, small town wise, I know the economy must be different, and it's probably more affordable to buy a house there than just anywhere else. But still, I mean, what was it? I don't even think they're married yet. The main couple who had the baby, for a couple in a relationship that just had a baby, and pulling out this big ass barbecue for like the little girl, it's like, honestly, it doesn't seem the most fiscally responsible, to be honest with you. I don't think it's the smartest move to have this sort of amount of free food. I'm pretty sure it was a potluck, so everyone brought something. But considering from the ones I've been to before in my life, I don't think it was that was the case, because my folks didn't bring anything. We just showed up for the food and for the baby, but that was it, of course. So everyone's coming together. Ace is beginning to feel guilty about what he did to Bobby Pin, and that the fact that he's got to start fixing up and fixing his act up a little bit before things get even worse. Jack shows up in the nick of time, but of course Stacy's just very vehemently not happy with him right now. She tries to ignore him every chance she gets, and just leaves him alone to his thoughts. I believe at a certain point we get inside. Bobby and Crystal are just talking about just the current state of affairs with Bobby's injury and Stacy and not Stacy and Crystal's lack of unsurety if she's even going to be in that ring again. But Bobby kind of reassures that, look, you're a good wrestler. You're going to be great. Just right now, just because they don't think of you as a wrestler doesn't mean you aren't. Don't let their opinion control who you are and guide what you are. So don't worry about it. I believe from there on, I want to say, yeah, I know there's another scene at some point. I don't remember entirely when, but I think it was just Bobby's just getting some food outside. He's struggling to even assemble a plate. Ace sees this as an opportunity to start rebuilding things, starting to apologize and just being, just hey, look, I'm sorry about this. This was uncalled for. I shouldn't have done that. Bobby being a very nice, sane mama's boy, has no ill will towards him. He's just look, what happened. I'm living with it. You're living with the guilt. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It's even more awkward the fact that Crystal shows up at the nick of time, and it's kind of a little bit of an awkward, this is the first time they had a conversation that's not yelling or in a ring or just not with Ace being way up in the air about other stuff. So I believe from there, Jack and Rooster have yet another one of their conversations about is Rooster going to be go to the big events, and Jack's most likely not, but he's not saying it because that's probably what his head thinking, because right now the point is the ladder match. But of course Rooster doesn't really care about what's going on for the DWO. It's what is Rooster going to do? My tea went cold. That's great. So I believe from there, I wonder if we just got a mini montage of just everyone just having fun, just chilling out, just relaxing, not really worried about anything. It's like the first, again, this is like definitely like the peace episode before the next episodes. Probably things go to shit, most likely. So again, also another thing is I DVR'd this episode of Heels, so I wasn't able to see the promo for the next episode, so I have no idea what's happening. So from here on out, I don't know. I'm not setting anything up because I literally don't know. But everyone's having fun. The barbecue's a success. Everyone starts leaving. We head tonight. It's only Ace and Crystal left. Crystal's holding the baby, and Ace is just kind of feel, you know what? Let me hold the baby. Let me hold this little slugger a bit. And it's actually kind of sweet that Ace is tackling into his old roots again, the young self in him. The one that had like bright potential, not the one that's kind of like doom and gloomy right now because of just everything else that's going on in life. I believe, yeah. So they eventually go outside. They leave the house, and Ace tries to like make amends with Crystal that he apologizes for his actions. He apologizes for his words. Those were not the right ways to handle it. Crystal understands, but I initially thought like, are these two just gonna get back to bed together? Like, is that what's gonna happen? Because Crystal might seem like they're either going to be the very best friends in the world or they're going to be eventually be in a relationship. But I honestly thought for a brief moment like Aces and Crystal are going to hook up right here, right now. But they don't. Crystal just leaves, which was a smart move. Let's not rekindle anything just quite yet. And then the final moments, which is Willie heads back to the DWL arena to kind of just shut down procedures. She's having an argument with her daughter. Bill shows up. He tries to apologize for what he said to her a few weeks ago. But Willie's not accepting it because she wants Bill to say the words that, I'm sorry, which Bill is kind of like just bullishly just refusing to do. Eventually, Willie has enough and leaves, but Bill follows suit and they head outside to the back lot, and Bill just breaks down and just is completely honest with her, like, look, maybe the reason I am this way and maybe the reason I tend to treat you differently is because of what you did to me in the past, where it was kind of similar to what Ace and Chris are going through right now. Like, they were the wrestler and the valet, and they were in love, and they had sex a lot, and they had, like, so much fun together. And then she started to sneak her way into Tom's corner and become Tom's valet and kind of, like, dissolve the relationship, and Bill was kind of just left alone. And I know that this was a sense of like trying to humanize Bill, but I'm like, dude, basically you're making a story that Bill, the only reason why Bill's like this because a girl said no to him or a girl left him, which honestly I do understand. I get that, but at the same time I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, but I'll allow it. I understand that. And Willie I don't think there's an immediate apology, but Willie just like, she understands now what she's going for. It's like, yeah, I did a fucked up thing too, leaving you, breaking up with you just to advance my potential here, but it wasn't fair to you. And who knows where this goes from here? Because we have almost a complete opposite moment back at the Spade house where they're home. I think I'm on another show up there, or it could be it, but Jack's kid and Stacy had also had to collect some fireflies for a project, but Jack is just far away, distant on his phone, focused on the fair. And then later that night, Stacy had enough of it and just said, look, you have always been doing this so much recently that it feels like lately you don't value my opinion, that every time I say something to you or every time I plan something for the family, you keep doing something else or blowing it off or just doing the very minuscule of work to it, that it's starting to like really affect her. And the fact that she's given up so much in her life just to be Jack's wife and to be the mother to his child, that it's starting to really get to her, and it's starting to like really paint a picture that did she make a mistake in life? And of course, Jack doesn't want to lose her. He still loves her, but Jack, of course, has his priority to the DWL. Like, he has to focus on that. But Stacy's like, look, enough's enough. It's fine you're doing that. We get that. We understand. That's not the problem. You're just not putting in effort for the family. You need to have, like, energy to do both, which I'm like, that's kind of deja vu to another conversation I had with someone else earlier this year. But I'm just thinking, again, it's only a matter of energy you have in a day, so you really can't use that much if you just don't have any more. But at the same time, I do understand where she's coming from. I do understand what she wants Jack to do. And Jack is like vehemently kind of like, okay, I agree. I'm going to try. I'll do my best. But we'll see how that goes. We're just going to see. And then I believe Ace is back in his house. Oh, yeah, there was an earlier scene where Ace's mom was going to throw away some of Tom's old things. Ace grabbed a bunch of them and just put them in his room. And just to remember a little bit more about his dad, he resumed playing the video clip he had of him like years ago when they were kids. Just hearing his dad just praise the hell out of Ace and just saying that he's going to go far in life. He's going to be in the big leagues. I just know it. And then just looking again at where Ace is now, it just kind of paints a picture of just how things really are, how the reality of things are. And the very last scene, I consider the very last scene is Rooster's heading back home, and he gives the other promoter a call and says, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to join your league. And that's where this week's episode ends. But again, this was definitely just the calm before the storm. Just definitely like, let's cool our jets a little bit. Episode 5 really ran things up to the limit. Let's bring it back down a little bit. Let's like calm down a little bit. Let's get everyone kind of reacquainted. Some time has passed. Everyone's just like now focusing on the fair. But now at the same time, how are they going to do the fair? And how is this all going to handle it out? How much longer can Jack keep this going before Stacey says, enough, I just want a divorce? How long is enough? Seeing also just a little bit more of Bill. It doesn't entirely paint him as a relatable figure, but it does kind of like give him like a little bit more human depth, that he just isn't a big piece of shit like a generic former star that just is relying on drugs now. They're doing more with that stereotype, and I like it. They're using it as the foundation for something. And I want to say also, I think I'm just really curious, and like I'm so curious on how everything's gonna go. Like every character, well, almost every character, like had some focus this week. Had some moment. We had a moment to like catch up on them and like realize where they're going to in life and where they're coming from and all that sorts. I'm curious to see how Roos is gonna handle out, trying to move on from Jack. Ace on his path of retribution, like, is it gonna stick or is he gonna go back to piece of shit Ace? We don't know quite yet. But again, I still think Heels performed yet another great, strong episode for the season. As we approached yet in what probably was going to be the final calm moments before whatever the finale has in store for us. So that is where, for me, I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. As always, I really enjoyed it. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Heels? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Talk to me. I'm always open for conversation down below. But sadly for me, this is the end of my road for now. So you're unaware, this has been Once of the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in Heels on Starz. If you want to know what we're doing normally on Once of the Two, besides our Heels episode reviews, we're currently doing DC Stargirl Season 2 episode reviews each and every Wednesday morning after a brand new episode on Tuesday nights on the CW, or free the next day on the CW app. We are about to start up this week our Doom Patrol Season 3 episode reviews, which will be coming out normally every Friday mornings after a brand new episode on Thursdays on HBO Max. But for this week, as always, HBO Max has 3 episodes to release. So we're going to be doing an episode 1 review on Friday, episode 2 review on Saturday, and episode 3 review on Sunday. And then we will go back to our normal routine next week. But however, plus our normal routine, next week we are starting up the Rookie Season 4 episode reviews. I cannot wait. The Rookie is back. Only 6 more days to go. It came by so damn fast. I'm exhausted, but guess what? We're just riding that train that's called life. So can't wait for things to go from here. But if you don't care about Heels, you're in luck. We'll be back in 2 weeks to do our episode 7 review. So I'll see you in October. But in the month of October, which will be our final month for Heels, that came rather quickly, it will be the last 2 episodes of Heels in terms of episode reviews. Then we're going to a Season 1 review that's non-spoilers, and then Season 2 predictions video, hopefully that it will get one. So that will round out the month of October for Heels. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be great. I can't wait for all that to happen. But again, this has been What's in the Two from ActionX. If you like what you hear from me, please subscribe to ActionX on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Like, favorite, share this review if you want to, but it helps us get it out there to other healers who have yet to discover us. helps us beat out the YouTube algorithm that hates me ever so much, and as well as sharing is for free here on the interwebs. Ring that bell for notification when our next video is live, which is normally for heels every now Tuesday mornings. And also follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates for the channel. But until next time, for all you healers out there, I'll see you all in 2 weeks, so enjoy the week off. Catch up on some other show, catch up on life. It's been great. But until next time, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.